Welcome again to my RC garage. Alright, it's Jason again. We talk a lot about cars. I just want to share more cars because I like talking about cars and driving them, and I like RC, right? So I like RC. Can you tell me something about yourself? I like RC. So this is my, and it might look kind of familiar to you, a TA-05 V1. The V2 has some other kind of suspension on the front there, but this is my version. I also got this one for $100. Had some basic parts on it, but I've upgraded since. I wanted to go through those a couple of upgrades with y'alls, because I assume the reason why y'all checking this out is because you like cars too. So it looks like I've got some upgraded suspension. Yes, these work. What are these? Yeah, Racing something or others. Tamiya springs. This looks kind of unfamiliar, right? This is a dust rock guard to cover that front belt. And this is interesting. I stole this idea off of the internet, compiling a bunch of different things. I'm like, okay, it looks like the TRF something or other 416, 417 has these extra linkages, and so then I was looking at this chassis. I'm like, what are these things for? And I was like, oh, okay, it's like the TA-04 or TA-05 reuses the TA-04s, but the TA-04, like a TRF 414, 416, 417, I don't even know which one it is, but I was like, it's got link points. I'm gonna try it. So I added these, and what they do is they keep this front end pretty locked. If it's just these tie rods, the upper arm, there's a little bit of play forward and back, right? But you add these, and there's like bracing, so the entire front end is so solid, dude. And it just swings that rear end around, which I upgraded the rear, and I didn't realize this was going to be a thing, but had a leftover suspension mount here. It happens to be, I think, like 1.5 or up to 3 degrees of rear toe. It's pretty significant, I think. And then you couple that with just camber, rear camber, and just I talked about in my other video, you lean it over on a load, and then you kind of level it out, right? So on full load, this is going to be kind of parallel. You got to balance it, right? This one's a little extreme, but it is what it is. And what happens is this amazing rotation happens around the rear, because it's Drift King, around corners, right? And it's fun. That's all I can say. If anyone has a TA-05, leave a comment, or tell me about it, because TA-05s, they're legendary for a reason, and it's because the balance between the front and rear is bueno. Right? Super good. What can I say? I upgraded this recently just because over time my original belts got chewed up by a little bit of rally running. I'm running on asphalt mostly, but the surface is very dependent on how many rocks fall from the sky. I don't know how many rocks there are, but there are a lot of rocks, and they're all different sizes. But they tend to get jammed up in your belts. And there's a lot of people that talk about belt versus shaft driven. Belts are superior, okay? Let's not talk about that, okay? But durability wise, your shaft is going to be there as well, right? This is a TB-03. there's a lot of rotational weight here, and it's always to one side, so you're going to have an imbalance. Even as lightweight as your motor is, or as little, you know, disturbing torque it has, there's going to be some offsets, right? So steering is not going to be, and handling is not going to be as consistent on even a really well-tuned shaft-driven car. So that's why I put so much effort into this $100 chassis, because the design, the belts are just, I love them. If this thing had gear diffs, it would, I don't even know what would happen. Probably fly. Anyway, so that's my TA-05. I actually started as like really only wanting for, because I rally. I think I rally. I don't know. I bash, but I drive my car, and I think I'm a rally driver with all my rally shells. But I like to drive on asphalt and tarmac mostly. And I set up a lot of my cars like having rally style, right? So, but this one is great on road, and but I just like to take it off on those like really dirty tarmac conditions, and it needs a little bit of armor. This is just for giggles, but it works. I love it. Okay, no sway bars, right? So this thing handles really well with no sway bars, but I'm finding that this car, it doesn't have as nice suspension. Well, let's talk about this car quickly. It's a TB-03, shaft-driven. Rear diff is a ball diff, and the front diff I replaced with a gear diff. So, and it's a limited slip, like kind of limited slip, and this was a little bit more free, right? I like how that feels. But the weighting compared to the XV01, this thing's a lot lighter actually. But I found that like a lighter car, you really need to depend on good tires. So if a lighter car doesn't have good tires, it's even, I feel like it's worse than like a mid or heavier weight car with crappier tires too, right? So tires, I think they're always essential. You get the best tires you can with the maximum grip, but especially with this thing, it's light. It'll slide, right? So no sway bars on this thing either. This one's set up to be kind of like, I bought this one for $100 too, and it was gold because it was all Tamiya blue. But I just replaced it, some of these suspension parts with cheaper, more hard wearing CVAs. These are workhorses. These things are great. This thing, it's a little bit more springy, but I set this one up not for tarmac actually. I set this one. That's right. I set this one up for real off-road. The tires are garbage off-road, but the suspension is marvelous. It's like pretty independent and kind of plush. It'll get over some grass patches pretty easy. But this one's fun. But on road, it's a little twitchy. Bitchy. Okay, but this one's nice. You guys saw this one last time, right? I love this body. Okay, now we're talking about other things. All right, guys. Thank you again.